Hello YouTube, Tim Kubron here, back for more fun and excitement at other people's expense. So last time we went through a pretty hefty tutorial, but now that that's done, we can actually get in and really play the game. So we'll jump to this distress beacon here, sure, why not? Distress beacon means someone's in trouble. Something's guaranteed to happen here. You find the source of the distress signal, a small research station. It appears to be a small laboratory fire that got out of control and is threatening to destroy the station. Their fire suppression system is not responding. I could send my crew in on a shuttle to help put out the fire, dock and try to rescue survivors, and leave. Now, sending my crew in to help put out the fire is dangerous. My crew could, get hurt. I'm going to dock and try and rescue the survivors here. You pull up alongside the station and cut through their hull. You are able to rescue a few survivors, but many more are lost. One of the survivors offers to join your crew, and you offload the rest at a nearby station. 14 scrap, and I have received Jones, the crew member. So interesting enough, Jones is actually an alien. You may notice he looks different from my human crew. And if we go in here, we can go to the crew subsection and see that Jones is a Rockman. The Rockman of Virachos 4 are rarely seen and are known for their fortitude. Rockmen are immune to fire, their movement speed is half, and their max health is increased to 150, versus humans who have only 100 health, and obviously they move at normal speed, I guess you would call it. Because these guys say that they're halved, so humans is normal, whatever. Humans, the benefit of humans is that their skills increase slightly faster. The crew skills that I talked about over here, they increase slightly faster against aliens such as Rockmen. So now I have a new crew member. I'm going to put him in my sensor system to upgrade that. So now I will be able to see what is inside enemy ships in addition to just what is inside my own ship. Next we'll jump to the store that's right here. Check that out, show you guys what's up with that. You find yourself surrounded by a group of mysterious alien vessels. They hail you and apparently have some valuable technology for sale. Alright, so here's the store. In this store we could buy fuel for 3 scrap apiece, missiles for 6 scrap, or drone parts for 8. We can also fix up our hull at 2 scrap per. I'm going to do that before I even think, because that's very important. If your hull goes down to 0, you will die. I could also buy a few new weapons, the halberd beam, which is a beam weapon, as mentioned in the tip at the beginning. It literally will cut across the ship, but it cannot go through shields on its own. So you want to take out the shields and then use that. It can do a lot of damage, cutting literally across the ship and doing damage per room it hits. The next one I could buy is an ion blaster. Ion blasters do not actually do damage to the hull. What they do is they hit a system and they do ion damage, and it disables the system for a certain amount of time, which can be useful. Just it's less of a straightforward means of fighting. We could also buy the drone control system I mentioned earlier, which will allow me to deploy drones to attack my enemies or defend my own ship. I could buy a crew teleporter, which allows me to teleport my crew onto the enemy ship and fight them in an attempt to kill all of their crew instead of blowing up their ship. This one is risky, as you could imagine. Maybe you send a couple of your crew members over and you find out that there's 5 guys on that ship and it's like, oh wow, my crew is going to get totally overwhelmed. But if you do it right, it can really, really be useful. It's just touchy. And cloaking, which is really great. Your ship can cloak temporarily, which will allow your weapons to charge up while your opponents do not, which can be super useful. I can also sell some things. I could sell, my weapons or my drones or my cargo or whatever, but I don't really have all that much to sell right now as I am still just at the beginning of the game. So I am actually just going to buy a few fuel. Oh heck, let's buy all their fuel. I got money. And I'll buy a missile too. And I still have a little bit of scrap left over. I might be able to upgrade my ship, and this seems like a good time to try it. As you saw earlier, I went in here to the crew section. We also have the equipment section, so you can change around your weapons or drones if you want. If I had some more, I do not. And the ship upgrades, which is, again, where you upgrade your ship. This is why you want as much scrap as you can get to upgrade your ship and make it more powerful so that you can beat the boss at the end. Right now, I don't have a whole lot of scrap to play around with, but I am going to... Well, I'd like to work on upgrading my shields, but as I said earlier, it takes 2 power in the shield system, so I'd have to upgrade it twice, and then I'd have to upgrade my reactor to have enough power to allocate to those shields. That's going to take more scrap than I have right now, but I am going to spend a little bit right now to sort of work my way towards it so that I don't end up, saving up most of it and then blowing it on something else. So when I have a little bit more scrap, I'll finish that up. Right now, I'll just buy 1. Okay, and then let's jump on our way. At first, it appears you have arrived in an empty system, but a ship appears from behind the planet and hails you. Haha, I am the dread pirate Tuku. Tuko? Prepare to die. Uh-oh. So again, we are instantly in combat here. This ship actually does have a layer of shields, and as I mentioned, I've upgraded my sensors by having a person manning the system, so I can now see what is inside their ship, where the people are and such. So now, as I mentioned earlier, missiles will go through shields, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my missiles shoot at their shield system, bring their shields down, and then I'll be able to use my laser to cut their ship up in whatever manner I feel appropriate. Okay, so they launched their missile and it went through my shields and hit my shield system. So now my shields are damaged, so I've got to repair them. Now I will shoot my missile at their shields. And I hit and I take down their shields. Now I will shoot my burst laser at their weapon system and attempt to disable those. The enemy ship appears to be powering up its FTL. It's trying to escape. Now what happens here is... obviously you can see it says FTL delayed. That's because I damaged their systems and their pilot left the cockpit. In order for a ship to jump away from you, they need to have their cockpit and engines undamaged and have their cockpit manned. So when a ship begins to power up its FTL, it'll say up here FTL charging. When they're doing that, you want to try and hit their cockpit or their engines to prevent them from jumping away. A, you won't get anything, and B, if it's a rebel ship that tries to do that, and rebels do it so often, it'll actually increase the pursuing rebel fleet's speed catching up to you. And I'll get to that right after this fight is over, because I realized that I completely glossed over it earlier. So now, even though they're trying to get away, they don't have any shields, they have no way of fighting me back, so I'm going to hold on to my missiles. Again, like I said, they're kind of a precious resource. And I'm just going to wait for my laser to come up, shoot them, and destroy their ship. And that was all she wrote. The ship explodes, leaving behind a substantial collection of useful scrap material. 1 missile, 1 drone part, 19 scrap. Alright, so let's jump on out of here. Now, this was what I was talking about. This big blob over here is the rebel fleet. This line is where they currently are, and this line is where they will be in the next turn or jump. If the rebel fleet catches up to where you are, you're in a lot of trouble, and you need to get out of there quickly, because you will be engaged by a rebel fighter, and the enemy rebel fleet gets to bombard at you while you're fighting the one ship. So it's really, really dangerous. Anyway, so if a rebel manages to escape with their FTL jump, it will increase the speed that they move for the next turn. So that's, not good. We'll go ahead and jump here. Why not? You come out of the jump and see laser blasts coming off the other side of the beacon. It looks like someone is under attack from pirates. Uh-oh, civilians are under attack from pirates. I'm going to aid the civilian ship because I'm a nice guy like that. You power up your weapons and engage the pirate ship. All right, so same thing. These guys have shields. So I'm just going to hit their shields with my missile launcher and then probably attack their weapon system with my burst laser. And there we go. Their ship is pretty much disabled. In a combat-based game like this, those are the main things you want to go for is, disabling your enemy's weapons, because then they can't do anything to you. You have free reign. And you can just do whatever the heck you want. The pirate ship breaks apart. You hasten to contact the civilian ship. 2 scrap, 1 drone part. 2 fuel, 1 drone part, 22 scrap. Whoops. Contact the civilian ship. They respond, "It's a good thing you came when you did. We'd be dead now otherwise. I'm a shipwright, and I'd like to help you like you helped me. The captain offers to install a piece of equipment on your ship. 14 scrap and a fire beam." Now, in here in the equipment, I can see the fire beam. This terrifying beam does no physical damage, but ignites fires. We haven't seen a fire in combat yet, but what happens is, you shoot at an enemy ship or they shoot at you and a room will catch on fire. And if that room is a system like weapons, you'll need to put out the fire and then repair it. So it just your weapon system will be down for that much longer before you can do anything about it. Fires can also spread to other rooms, damage crewmates, and cause damage to systems if they're allowed to just be there burning for long enough. Alright, so next I'm actually, for the purposes of a tutorial-like thing, I'm going to jump into this purple cloud. This purple cloud is a nebula, and it functions slightly different than normal space. The nebula here will make the fleet pursue slower, these guys, but will disturb your sensors. So let's go ahead and check that out, just see kind of what it's like. You find 2 heavily damaged ships floating nearby, the remains of a battle. You begin to harvest some debris when you hear the sounds of someone beaming aboard, followed by the shouts of a boarding party. So I collect 2 missiles, 1 missile, 1 drone part, and 19 scrap, and there are intruders on board. The first thing I'm going to do is, because my sensors are disabled, because I'm in an ion storm, I'm going to take him off the sensor system. And I'm going to realize that the intruders are in my weapon system. As you can see, it's taking damage. So I'm going to have all of my crew moving and try and take these guys out. Now, while they're fighting, of course, you can see my health bars. I don't want my crew to die. So I'm going to start moving them out when they get low on health. Come on, guys, you can do it. Don't die. Oh, great. I didn't even notice that until just now. Also, in addition to being in this nebula where my sensors don't work, I have jumped into an environmental hazard, in this case, a plasma storm. A plasma storm takes away some of your reactor's power, disabling some of your systems. As you might have noticed, I've had to take power off of my shields and my engines and put it onto my health bay and my oxygen. Because of the plasma storm, they're temporarily disabled. And I think I finally did it. Oh my goodness, that was rough. They did a lot of damage to me there. So I'll heal up the damage before I go anywhere. Phew. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump to the next area. Get out of this plasma storm here. Those can be pretty dangerous. There are some other different environmental hazards. We'll probably encounter a few of them as we go. A Federation encrypted signal is being broadcast from a nearby planet. Okay, I could send an away team to investigate, or it could be a trap. Let's move on. Now, it's Federation. I'm the Federation. So, I mean, I kind of feel sympathetic, and I feel like I should send a party. You find a small cache of supplies that were surely left for loyal Federation ships in trouble. You take all that you need, leaving some for others to find. 2 missiles, 1 drone part, 28 scrap. Nice. Now, those kind of things are randomly generated, and the game kind of decides randomly if you win or lose. There's not really much you can do to influence it. So, I mean, it's nice that I came out ahead there. Ah, darn it. Okay, so we might as well re-power up all my systems. And I think we probably have enough, and then some, to get those upgrades I was looking for. So I'll get that second layer of shields, and I'll also grab 2 power in my reactor, so I can now allocate that to my shields and get a second layer of shields. Excellent. That'll be really useful in combat. Let's go here next. A rebel ship moves to engage. You attempt to open communications, but realize futilely that the futility of that action when you see the ship is run by an AI. Yeah, exactly. This is an auto scout class ship. They do not have people on board, so yeah. Now, I think, if I'm correct, this is a single shot weapon, and this is a laser. Yep, single shot and laser, which means that these guys have absolutely no way of breaking my shields, literally. So I can just take my good sweet time here. I don't need to blow a missile. Just listen to the really cool soundtrack while we're doing this. I do like this soundtrack quite a bit. It's really nice. All right. The ship explodes, leaving behind some scrap. 3 fuel, 1 drone part, 26 scrap. All right. Now we'll jump to the next area. Now you might have noticed on this last jump I was here, and I very well could have jumped to the exit. That's not really ideal. As I said, there's a boss at the end, and you want to be able to upgrade your ship as much as possible. In order to do that, in order to collect more scrap, you need to spend as much time as possible exploring around, checking out and seeing if you can fight other ships before the rebels get here, and then jump to the next sector. It's a good way to really, collect and just make your ship as powerful as possible so that the final boss fight isn't just a total nightmare. The space station here is a traveling merchant who shows you his wares. All right. Now again, I could buy the same 3 systems, the drone control, the teleporter, or the cloaking. I could also buy Um, a breach bomb Mark 1. Now bombs are weapons that require missiles to fire, but they work slightly differently. Instead of being shot, they are actually teleported to a place on the other ship, and they have like a 90% chance of hitting exactly where they go, and sometimes they miss and don't hit anything. I guess that is based on the enemy ship's evasion, not the bomb itself, excuse me. And what they'll do is they'll damage the systems and the people, but they won't actually damage the hull the same way that a missile will. They won't do damage. However, this one, the breach, has a high chance of causing a hull breach, which will cause that system to leak oxygen and need to be repaired. Yeah. And we also have a heavy laser, Mark II, which fires 2 shots, doing 2 damage each hit. Nice. That actually could be pretty useful. And over here on page 2, we can buy Angie, Chris Phillips, or Ohm. The Angie, it is unclear if the Angie are partially organic or entirely mechanical, but it's well known that they make exceptional engineers. Their repair speed is doubled, and their combat damage inflict is halved. So they're really, really good at fixing stuff. I could buy an Angie crew member, or I could buy a weapon. That's a tough one. I'm gonna buy a weapon. I'm gonna get the heavy laser Mark II, and then I'm gonna grab a few fuel. Oh, and you know what else? I could also... No, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to go to the sell page and sell the fire beam, because I'm very likely not going to use this at all. I might as well just get the scrap out of it. Alright, and let's go on to the next sector. An especially well-armed pirate ship approaches you. Hand over one of your crew members, and the rest can go free, unharmed. Draw straws to send a crew member over to the slavers, or we will never surrender one of our crew to slavers. And you're damn right, we will never surrender one of our crew to slavers. That would be horrible. Alright, so, hey, how about that? So you remember that last fight where they had a single shot gun and a laser? These guys have a single shot weapon and a laser. So I'm completely incapable of being harmed by these guys. That's pretty great. This is going to take a little longer, but I'm just going to use my laser. I'm not even going to bother with shooting my Artemis. And there go their weapons, just because no reason. I didn't need to, I just felt like it. We surrender. Take one of our slaves as tribute. If you destroy us, they'll die anyways. Oh, I could do that. I didn't buy the Engie from the last area, so I might as well grab an Engie from here. I guess I can let you live in exchange for your crew member. So I now have an Engie crew member. Yay! Alright, so let's have him here. I kind of want to keep him sort of in the middle with their high repair skill. I'd like to, have them repairing whatever gets damaged, so I want them close to everything as much as I can. And we'll jump to the exit. You have arrived at the long-range beacon. When the FTL is charged, you can jump to the next sector. In the meantime, you receive a message from a small convoy. They're looking for some military supplies and offering to try and improve your reactor in exchange. I could agree to the trade for 2 missiles and a drone part, or respectively decline. Now, I'm not really using drone parts at all, and I've been very, very conservative with my missiles, so I don't feel like I'm going to be in a need for them if I give up 2. Let's give it a try, sure. Let's let them try and upgrade my reactor. You make the exchange, and their team comes on board to try and improve your reactor. Minus 2 missiles, minus 2 drone parts, and upgraded the reactor by 1. Score. I guess for now, I don't have anywhere to put that power, so I'll put it in engines, upgrade my evasion a little bit. And now we can jump to the next sector. So here this brings up the galaxy map. From where you are in the first sector, here you can jump to one of these two sector 2s, and that'll start you down a slightly different path until you can get to sector 8. So here we have the mantis controlled sector or the rock controlled sector. Neither one of those is really great. As you can see with these dots, they're both hostile. You know, you have green civilian, red hostile, purple is nebula. So, I mean, toss a coin, dude. I'll go to the mantis. Why not? You enter a poorly charted area of space that is known to be home to the mantis. Ensure your hull plating is up to scratch and that you have enough fuel in the tank to make it through. Okay. And so now here we are in Sector 2. And pretty much the thing begins all over again. We start jumping around until we go to the exit and hit Sector 3. So that is where I'll stop this first installation. And we'll get back to you later. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And peace.